Hello, I'm Annie Brock, and welcome to the Leader Transition Institute's October training and coaching session. If you haven't joined us for a training and coaching session before now, we do this on the fourth Thursday of every month at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, so mark it on your calendar and you'll have it programmed for the future. Our topic today is procrastination. I chose it because we're talking about it in LTI's Daily Dispatch, and I know it's something with which a lot of people struggle. I want you to feel free to put your questions and comments into the chat. I'll check it occasionally and try not to miss anything. And don't worry, if I've missed something while we're here live, I'll find it when I go back through the chat afterwards. We're going to talk first about the link between planning and procrastination. Then I'm going to share some tips with you to help you reduce and perhaps even eliminate procrastination from your life. When it comes to procrastination, planning can be the solution or the obstacle. Managing your time sometimes helps you to stop putting things off. On the other hand, if you have trouble moving beyond the planning stage, you may wind up bogged down in analysis paralysis. And maybe you already have signs of overplanning in your life. You read the latest best-selling diet books, but you put off cutting calories and going to the gym. You want to start a business, but you do so much research that conditions change before you're ready to launch. Well, today, I want to help you turn your dreams into reality by giving you some tips to help you move from thinking to doing. Hi, Tommy. It's good to see you today. Let's talk for a few minutes about overplanning and the challenges it creates for us. It's critical to moving forward that you accept some uncertainty. It's impossible to predict the future. Embracing change is more effective than resisting it. Being adaptable creates more security than trying to rely on a false sense of control. And moving forward requires doing something. Talking about something usually requires less energy than actually doing it, but you're going to have to put down the how-to books and pick up a hammer if you want to renovate your kitchen. And it's okay to learn from experience. There's no reason to be afraid of mistakes when you're prepared to turn them into lessons on what to do next time, because you're making progress regardless of the immediate outcomes. Now, it's valuable also to take time to look at the big picture. It's kind of like when we paint and changing focus. People are really concerned about what their what their painting looks like when they're up close to it. When they hold it back, then they can see how good it looks. Well, planning in life for projects, for anything, it will go awry just the same way as it does in painting if you keep obsessing about small details. So it's helpful to take a step back and focus on your major goals. I ask you, are you avoiding living in the present by continuing to plan? Hmm? It's helpful to imagine how your actions will affect your future self, but you can miss out on life if you ignore the here and now. So I want you to live mindfully and celebrate where you are today. Taking action will also help you to build your confidence. Doubting your abilities can cause procrastination. Use your self-talk to motivate yourself. Remind yourself of your past accomplishments and choose activities that leverage your personal strengths. So, do any of you have experience with anything I just talked about? I'll give you a minute to put it in the chat. There's a little bit of a delay with the chat coming to me, so I'm going to give it just a couple seconds more. Okay, so there are some strategies that you can use to fight your tendencies to overplan. And the first one is to set a time limit. Decide in advance how long you'll spend on planning. Take 10 or 15 minutes to map out your day the night before instead of letting it consume your morning. Second tip, proceed in reverse. When you arrange a wedding or a dinner party, you probably work backwards from the final date. Apply the same strategy to other projects to keep yourself on track. Backwards planning works for nearly everything. Yep, you can do that. You can, Tommy put in the chat, I'm going to put it up here so y'all can see. She's had team members who have planned themselves out of business. That's exactly right. You can spend all your time working and developing and then not be able to put your toe in the water and fail. Your plan can be perfect, but if you don't take that first action, it's not going to work. So after the time limit and work backwards planning, it also helps to break things down. You know, if you're going to learn to study Russian or prepare your taxes, it's less daunting when you break up all the individual tasks that are involved. So cut monster projects down to size. You know, what do we say? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. One. It works for everything. Yep, perfection. Perfection has ruined so many things in life. There are things in life that perfection is valuable for, but perfection can ruin a lot of other things. Take a first step is the next thing in the list that I would suggest that you do. Pick out at least one thing you can do today. And that's what you might do with your team members in the future, Tommy, is to help them from their plan. Pick out one thing that they can get done. And after they've got that one thing done, they can do the next thing. Help them find something that's feasible in terms of their current resources. But it's important that everybody can live with the level of risk involved. And sometimes that is the problem. People are really afraid of risk. If you manage the risk, if you know the size of the risk, it becomes easier to deal with. And it's always helpful to know what your next step will be. We talk about this all the time in Changing Focus, Moving from We to Me, when our participants are creating their vision plan. One of the things that's helpful is to enlist support, because you can accomplish more when you team up with others. Surround yourself with colleagues and loved ones who encourage you and give you valuable feedback. And maybe that's an idea, Tommy, that you could do with new team members, is perhaps you could match a couple of new team members together who are just at the same stage in their business, and they'll encourage each other to move forward. And it's really helpful to seek out a partner who complements your work style. It's important to review your progress. Mid-course adjustments will increase your chances of ultimate success. Develop milestones and target dates when you'll evaluate your performance and refine your plans. And be flexible. Most important thing to do with a plan is to be flexible. There are times in life when you have to absolutely stick to the plan. But if you can look at your plan as a guideline and know that sometimes you're going to veer from it, you will be happier. Because true fulfillment has more to do with spending your time engaged in meaningful activities rather than sticking to any rigid plan. So you want to keep your purpose and your core values in sight. It's really important to make planning work to your advantage. And while there are many good reasons to think before taking action, you need to do something if you're going to reach your goals. And it's time for you to take charge and let your plans give you a sense of direction instead of holding you back. Questions or comments before we go on to some things that will help you to avoid procrastination? Okay, so let's talk about these things that can help you avoid procrastination. The first thing is to understand it. To understand that there's a difference between procrastination and laziness. Laziness, you aren't willing to put any effort into anything. Procrastination is leaving things till the last minute and wasting time on other activities. So ask yourself, why do you do that? Why do you leave the important things for the last minute and waste time on other activities? I can remember in college that when I had a test coming up or a paper coming up, that was always when my room was the cleanest because I would make sure that my room was clean before I did anything else. It was a way of procrastinating. And I felt like I was productive because I was actually doing something, but I wasn't productive at what I needed to be doing. Scientists have been studying the brain and feelings to understand procrastination. And there's a study called Overcoming Procrastination that looked at why people put things aside despite knowing that they're important. And what the researchers found was that self-esteem and worldviews can affect procrastination. People who have low self-esteem and negative views of the world around them, they're more likely to avoid doing important things on time because they're more likely to see no point in completing the tasks. But procrastination can also simply be a bad habit. So what do you want to do? I'll say it again. Breaking up the work into smaller bits. Can your assignments or chores be cut up into smaller pieces? Because one reason for procrastination is that large assignments or chores can really seem overwhelming and too difficult to finish. And if you break up things into smaller chunks, then each piece can be accomplished easier. Like one of the things that I try to do, I will admit I'm not always very good at doing it, but cleaning the whole house is overwhelming to me when I think about that. And so it's easier for me if I think about cleaning one room each day. And maybe that is a little frustrating because it means that I have to clean every day, but cleaning a little bit every day is easier in my mind to wrap my mind around than spending an entire day cleaning the whole house. And when we make timelines and schedules for each part of the project, it can also help you stay on track. And I don't do this now, and I probably should get back to it, but I actually used to put house cleaning on my calendar. I blocked out time for it, and I made sure that I did it then. My husband would probably appreciate it if I did that again now. And now I'm going to put Tommy's comment up here again because I think that she's not the only person um, that thinks that getting things done under pressure is good. It actually isn't. That is putting your body under stress and your mind under stress all the time is not a positive thing. It's much better when you can do things in a relaxed mode. So it's important to recognize your procrastination activities. Do you play games instead of working on your project? Are you checking social media instead of finishing your report? It, it's valuable to take some time and to track and pay attention to how you're using your time. What do you do while you procrastinate? Because if you figure out what you do, then you can catch them before they happen. Because social media, games, and smartphone messages, they're just distractions. Emails and phone calls can also be an issue. And when you take time to track your time, you'll be able to see how much time you waste on these activities instead of completing the actual task you need to get done. So turn off your notifications, put your phone in a drawer if you have to so that you don't see it. Turn off the messages if they come in on your Mac. You can take steps to do all these things and they will help you make progress because it's really important to eliminate the distractions, the activities that keep you from finishing your work. And one of the things that is I will suggest is make the games that you enjoy a reward for having done the task or chore you don't want to do. Another thing that I'll suggest is to get other people involved. You may need to involve friends, your coworkers, or your family to help you. They can help you set goals, they can watch you and stop you from procrastinating. And if you have a friend or a coworker who's also trying to accomplish an important goal, then sometimes working together can often make the process easier. And you can inspire each other to stay focused and finish together. And you can even co-work if you're not in the same place. Go on Zoom or something like that, or FaceTime, and work on a project together for a while. Do something hard that you are each working individually, but you'll be working together, and you'll be surprised how that can help you to move forward. And you can inspire each other. And whoops, Lost my AirPod here. Excuse me. Yep, this is live. And number 5, the last thing that I'm going to suggest to you is to stop the excuses. Do you find yourself making multiple excuses for not finishing a project? Do you blame your health or the health of others? Do you complain about the amount of work or the lack of instructions? Excuses can derail your efforts and lead to procrastination. And common excuses also include thinking that you can finish it faster if you're on a tight deadline or blaming your mood for not doing it. And another common excuse I've heard is waiting for the time to be right or just perfect. But these excuses are unhealthy for your mind and for your body, and they waste your energy. And I'm going to ask you, did you hear what I said just now? I used the word excuses, where often people will say it's their reason. I will tell you, it's important to recognize an excuse for what it is. So instead of coming up with reasons why you can't do something, focus on tackling that project and just getting it finished. Procrastination doesn't have to be a permanent habit in your life. You can avoid it, and you can even remove it from your life. But I want you to understand that it's like anything else. If you have a habit of procrastination, you can't break it overnight, but you can get 1% better every day. And all of those 1%, they'll compound over time. Comments, questions? Go ahead and throw them into the chat. Well, before I go, I want to make sure that you know how to find our website. So I'm going to put our link up on the screen for you to see. Let me find it here. There we go. And I'm going to put it into the chat. So you can copy and paste it out. And thanks, Tommy, for the kind comments. I also have one more thing for you to say, to you. And that is that if you're someone who's thinking about separating from the military or retiring from the military in the next 24 months or less, or if you're in the middle of transition from active military service right now, be sure to check out Changing Focus, Moving from We to Me. You'll see it on our website. There's still time to get into the December cohort, and applications for the 2023 cohorts will open up on November 15th. So thanks for spending this time with me, and I'll see you again next month. Bye-bye.